very important to understand these concepts because this is what will build up every other things that we shall learn about Python are majorly based in these data structures and other stuff. So the other day we talked about the variables, we talked about the operators in details by Kelvin, and I think it was very wonderful to learn from you guys. So let me just create a new file here so that we can use it to learn. Let me just create a new file. Data structures. So who can tell us what data structures are? Anyone? Just to tell us what data structures are. Functions. So if you don't want to say that, the data structure, this is a way of organizing or storing and managing the data to perform the operations. So in Python we have, like you can distinguish data types in two categories. The building data types in Python, we can categorize them into two categories. We have the mutable, mutability, or when we talk about things being mutable, it means that you're able to change. You're able to change, and immutable, it means that you are not able to change once you've created. So something in the immutable category, we have data type like strings. String is also a data type. And we have another one called a tuple. So these are the things that are immutable. They are not once you've created them, you can't change. You can't change. So and then the ones that are mutable, the building, building these data structures are like a list, sets, and dictionaries. List, sets, and dictionaries. So it means that you can manipulate them once once you've created. So I don't know. I want us to begin with list. List is part of data structure, one of the data structure, the building data structure. So the main ones in Python that when you just download Python in your system, it will come with these four building data structures. That is a list, a tuple, a set, and a dictionary. I want us to begin with a list. And just a minute. So I was talking about the data structure. I said that we have the mutable, immutable, and under the immutable, we said that we have strings and tuples, and inside the mutable, which means you are able to modify. These are like the sets, dictionaries, and lists. So I want us to begin with the list. List is one of the four building data types in Python. They are used to store they are used to store collection of data. So we talked about Kelvin took us through the variables yesterday, and maybe just to remind you about the variables. Variables just like a water tank that is used to store water to be used later, or a maluya. Let me use a Luya term now. Like if you have a sack to store maize. So, just like you can have a sack to store maize, so that you can scoop a bit and and grind it and use it to make ugali. For those who don't know ugali, it's like when you grind the maize for the Nigerian guys. When you grind maize and then you make these corn cakes. We call them ugali. You can eat it with something like kuku, chicken, mbuzi or sukuma wiki. It is very, very delicious. So I want to use that example of maize. So you can have a sack to store maize, and then so in that sack that sack can contain maize, of which you can use bit or a portion of it later, and then the same sack can store things like other things apart from maize. It can also store things like potatoes, can store things like millets. So in the programming context, the variables, these are like just containers to store or to hold this data so that you can use it later. So when you refer maybe to a particular sack, it will mean that you are referring to the maize, the content in that sack. So likewise in this programming, you can as well store different things in the same variables with the variables. You can store things like strings. You can store the basic data types like integers, booleans, and stuff. You can as well store complicated data types like these, lists, sets, dictionaries, and so forth. So just a minute, nijibu huyu mtu. So I want to show you how to create a list. So for a list is created inside the square brackets. So this one is unique. A list is created inside the square brackets. Like things like set in dictionary, they use the curly braces, but to distinguish can be a bit challenging. Though I'll show you the quickest way. But now the list is very, very unique. It is defined with the square brackets. Now I'll create here a variable. Let me call it something like the list or anything. So this is a variable. Last time we saw that it can hold things like integers. It can store things like strings, uh, things like this. It can store the booleans, values, and stuff. But it can as well store complicated data types like a list. So a list, I say that is defined with these two. Let me zoom in. These two square brackets, and a list, for instance, can contain any data type inside the list. It can be a string. Let's say, let me add in my favorite fruits. Like I like apple, and of course banana should have been number one. Banana, and also mango. That's mango. So it can as well hold different data types like let's use a boolean here. True. True is a boolean value. It can hold also an integer. An integer. This is an integer, and also a floating number like let's say 20.7 and so forth. You can hold anything. And then to call this list or maybe to print, to run it, you can just run it directly. But today I'll be using this print function. I want you to familiarize with the print functions. Is someone talking? All right, so we'll be using the print function, and then in the print function, I'll pass this list here, the variable actually, the variable called the list. So, this is an example of a list. So I want us to talk about these lists in details. We say that a list is what? A list is the characteristics of a list. It is ordered. The first thing, it is ordered. It is changeable. We talked about the immutability we talked about mutability of lists. So it means that they are changeable. You can modify, you can change, you can add, you can remove, items in a list after you've created. It also allows duplicates. It allows duplicates and so forth. So I want us just to go step by step, but in details to discuss these lists. So I want us to talk about the ordered nature of the list. So for instance, if now talking about its ability to allow duplicates. So let's try to add in something here like let me repeat Apple. Should I copy paste so that I can write exact thing? Because I think I'm not good with the spellings. So you realize that it will follow the exact format that it was written here. It will begin with apple, banana, mango. Then this format, it will follow the same format. This is why we say that the list is ordered. It means that when we say that the list is ordered, it means that the items they have defined order, and that order will not change. And then also you can realize also here that it allows duplicates, like we've used here apple, and also here I have apple. Let me do this. Let me copy paste because maybe I don't see well. I've written something else, and then let me just copy paste it so that you can believe it's the same thing. Now, when you run, you can see it will still execute. It will still print apple and the apple. So it allows what duplicates. And also you can do what you can change a list once you've done what once you've you can change an item in a list. Then I think this one I'll talk about it in a few later. But let me show you these basics. For example, how to obtain the length of a list, how to check the length. Now you can use the length function to obtain the length of a string. So you can use something like a length. We talked about the built-in keywords. The built-in, these are the preserved keyword in Python, so you can't use them as variables. Something like a print function, the length, these are built-in methods, function that you can't use them as variables. So something like len is a built-in keyword that is used to return the length of any object. So when you run this one, you'll see the list contains how many items: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see it's returned 7. Also, the other way could be, I don't like writing these things inside the print function. You could have created the variable inside outside, then run the variable. So instead of writing inside the print function, though you can do that, but it's recommended to use the variables because it makes it easier. So let me use something like a new underscore list, and then this function I'll cut, and then let me just paste it here, and then so here I'll just pass here underscore list. Then it will still do it will still give me the the result. So it's this is just my recommendation, but you can run these methods here the function. But I like working with variables, so to make your code actually clean. Now so basically I say that it can hold different data types. It can hold it can hold the boolean values, it can hold integers, it can hold strings, and we've proved here also which data type that I haven't included here. So you can see it holds different data types. Now for example, if I want to check the type and the type of data type. If I want to check the type, you can use the type. So let me use here the type. Let me call it what? Which variable can I use for data type, or I just pass it here? I want to use something like, let me just say data type. Yeah, let me just use a data type. So to get the data type, you can pass this method called type. Now we talked about you see me I'm mentioning something called method. We have some predefined functions predefined function inside Python. So when you use those predefined functions inside Python, we call them methods. But when you write your function, like when you say div, and then your function name and stuff, we call this one a function. But when it is used this way, we call them the method. When you use a built-in function in Python, we call them method. So when you hear me calling something method, just know that it's a built-in function to perform defined task. So like the type method, it is used to return the type of the data type. So when I just pass here my new list here, let me copy. It should do what? It should return the data type. So I forgot to do that to add a print function to execute it. Remember, when you use this print function, it only execute what you've listed there. So you can create as many print functions as you want, provided you, or I can as well print all of them in the same, but let me use a different one. So here, say the variable we used was data type. The data type. So you can see. So basically, oh, you can see it is printing int because here it is length. We use the length. So I should have passed here the list. Sorry. Because now you can see this one is we use this length method to obtain the length of a string, and that the length is what is an integer. That's why you can see it's int. But when you run this the list, it should be it should be wait. There's something I'm not doing it. I'm not doing right. Someone can tell me.
Hello.
Yes.
Under data type, that you type, then and in the parentheses you should write the list, and then in the second print function it should be new list.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I didn't notice that. That's the bad thing with copy pasting the list and the list. So no, but now I think now the best way to make people understand well, let me just run it in the print function, right? Or maybe any suggestion before?
No, in the second print function,
yes,
write data type in the parentheses.
Oh, I forgot again. To copy. Yeah, it worked. So don't do the copy pasting thing. You might be confused like me. Don't be like me. So this is how you can see, like we've just like for list we just used these square brackets, and it automatically created a list. However, you can use the list constructor to create a list. To create a list, for instance, I'll use something like a tuple. Like let me just use this variable. Let me say the new list. Then I'll assign here to the list constructor list. Then inside this list, let me use a tuple, which I'll talk about tuples in a few. So tuple, then here let me just pass my favorite fruits. Let me just pass them here. And let me just pass them here, and then let's do this. Let me just run it direct in the print function. I don't want to do the mistake I did the other time. So I say type. Type we said does what? Anyone? Anybody who is following?
It gives us the data type.
That's correct. So so here we should pass what? we should pass this thing called new list, the variable. And then you can see it is still a list. So you can as well do what you can as well use the list constructor to define a list. You can see it was initially a tuple, but we've used a list constructor that made it a list. So I want us now to dive deeper in these basics, but subsequent data structures, I won't go into that details because the methods and all things will be just the same. So I want to talk about on how you can access the list, how you can access elements inside the list. So now, for instance, if I want to, and by the way, if I'm going too fast, you can just tell me, or if I'm saying things which doesn't make sense, you can as well shout out so that I may not mislead someone. So just be free to talk, to comment, and also to make me know that I have people in the background. Sometimes maybe the internet can disconnect and I don't see because I can't see that meeting. No, I'm just talking to the computer. So now, how do you access a list? To access not to access an element in a list, to access the element in a list. By the way, something that I can tell you is that you can see we are using different cells. You can create new cells inside this Jupyter notebook, but I just know that it is the same notebook. It is the same file, which means that we can still access the variables created here at the top. We can still use them here at the bottom. So I think that's should be something that you have to know, so that in case you want to pull some data up here, I just know that new cell is just like you want to create some new code that you want to execute separately, but it's just the same file. You can still return, stuff from previous cells. So now, but let me use this one. Let me just because let me go cell by cell so that people can understand things. So how do you print a certain element index? By the way, indexing in Python begins from 0. So like if you want to access things, you don't begin like from 1, 2, 3. You can't say like this apple is 1, 2, 3. It begins from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3 in that format. So indexing in Python, it begins from 0. Just know that. And in fact, in most languages, it begins with from 0, also R. Now, let's say print. We want to access element number 0. So we'll pass here the variable name called the list, and then here you can do it. Here you can pass element 0. 0 I said is like 1, so it should return what? It should return the apple. So you can see it returns apple. 1 will be banana. So I think you can now tell that indexing begins from 0. So basically, this is how you can access the elements inside a list. You can access elements inside a list. I think I said it correct. So now, how about the negative indexing? Now, negative indexing means that you start from the other end. You start from the opposite side. So like So just know that negative indexing begins from the other side. Like if you want to access element 1, you want to access an element from the other side, you'll do this. So that should be what? That should be apple. But the other thing that perhaps guys you need to know, like if you are going from left to right, 0 is included. But when you are doing from right to the other side, it is excluded, right? I guess. So like if you want to access, let's say, there's nothing called negative 0, right? So let's say you want to access maybe.
Nehemiah.
Yes.
Nehemiah. Nehemiah.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to disturb you. This is Ibrahim.
Yes.
When you're coming from the right side, it's just like the way you start from -1. I did not see anywhere where we have anything like 0. So I think when you're coming from left to right, that is when you start from 0. And then when you're coming from the right side to the left side, it's -1, just the way you have explained.
Yeah, that's very correct, because we have nothing. We don't have something called -0. So it's either 0, 1, or a -1. So when we say -1, it begins in the exact value when you are in this side. The exact, like if one to access 2, -2, it will be this one, 20. So I think, guys, you understand that one. Now, what if you want to access a range of elements? So to access a range of elements, for instance, if you want to access element from, let's say, 1.
Nehemiah.
Yes.
Hello, kindly, can you mute? There's some news from Olu. Yeah, yes, thank you.
For me, when I mute, I think you won't be able to hear me.
Not you. Oh, okay. She has muted, actually. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now I've shown you how to access an individual element, but for instance, sometimes you want to return only some values in a range. What you do, we say you'll use these two values, two integers. Two integers. For example, if you want to obtain a range, you can do this. You can say, for example, 2, and then the next value can be, let me use 1, and then let's say 3. Who can tell me the result for this one? Where will it begin from and where will it end?
Hello, let me try it, Nema.
Yes.
I think, okay, you can go on. Sorry. Icona, you can
go. To begin, good evening, everybody. To begin from banana, and it will end in two, just before the fourth element, the third element. That should be.
I can't hear you well.
Mango. Okay, I think to begin from banana, that's one, second element, and to end at mango. Because the third element, the 3, which is the one that's representing 3, that is the fourth element, will not appear in the list.
You can't see well. It is true. Banana. This is true. You can't see it well.
Oh.
Let me try to zoom, perhaps.
She said it won't appear.
It won't appear.
She said that it will begin at banana, then end at mango. From what I heard, I don't know if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
that's what I said.
Let's run. Yeah, that's true. So basically, it excludes one element from the right. So from the left, it's just going in the normal way. Like we said, 1 is like 2. 1 is like 2, and then now for 3, it will exclude the last element when we say 3. So this is 1, 2. This is 0, 1, 2, 3. So it will exclude 3, and then it will return these 2. So that is very, very correct. So basically, I guess guys, you understand how to do that. So what about the negative indices? What about the negative indices? So for instance, let's try this. Let's say we want to achieve, for example, negative, let's say -4 and -2. So guys, I believe you know that this -2 is greater than this -4. You know, you guys understand these things. So who can tell us?
minus 2 minus 2 minus 4. 5 minus 6.
You can raise your voice. I can't hear.
Let me try Nehemiah.
Yes, yes.
Personally, I don't know. I'll start to be corrected. Personally, I think that could be wrong because I think Python's when you say -1, it shall give you the far end, the apple that is on your far end on the right. Then when you say -2, it will give you that 20.7. And then I've seen that you have given us like something technical. I'm trying also to figure it out, but I'm not getting it because I'm understanding. Like it does not work like the way we do it in mathematics, that -2 is bigger than -4. Maybe someone else has something to share also.
Oh, I said something that is so strange. Sorry, guys. Sometimes I usually say things, but now in indexing, like we said earlier, negative begins from the other side. Like we say, in the normal way, for example, 0, 1, 2, 3, you go from left to right. But now when you are using the negative index, it begins from the other side to from right to left, from right to left. So when we say, for instance, -4, that will be 1. Maybe someone to try before I say. We have great people here. Anyone?
Jeremiah.
Yes.
Okay, me I have a plus. You know, from April, if you start from the far right, it's -1. So if you want to print from the far right to the far left, you start from -1, -2, -3, -4. So I think if you want to print maybe from April to maybe you want to fill up to 2, maybe up to 2 years. So that will be -1.
And then you suddenly disappeared. I didn't catch the other end. So I said, like, indexing, when you are doing the negative indexing, it begins from the exact element. Hello, you can continue, please. Yes.
Sorry, I think I lost my network. Okay, the thing is, from the far left, from the far right, it's negative. If you want to print from the far right to the far left, you start from -1, then 20.7 will be -2. Then 10, 101, -3. So I think if you want to print from far right to far left, you should start with -1 up to, let's say you want to print up to 2. 2 is -4. So we'll print a range from -1 up to -5. I think you can try that one out if possible.
So it means that. So it will mean that you will be changing the question. For example, a teacher has given you a question, and then
Yes.
you'll give you rewrite your own question. So this is like we are trying just to. But let's try that one. Let's try that.
Okay, just try it out.
Yeah.
Nehemiah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry to be disturbing you alone. Why
No
can't
problem.
you try?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why can't you try what I've just treated? -4, -2. I'm curious to see what will happen.
Oh, let's try and see. So
it will work. It will work actually.
but it seems it's not working. Let me.
You put -1.
So it is giving us the same result. But I guess you guys understand the.
This is correct, actually. I think it's the same concept as the other one, that what is the last item is not shown, is not ignored, like on the last index. So it just shows the first 3. Like in this case, it will be the first 3 according to the index.
Yeah. That's wonderful, son. That's wonderful. So I think we are good now on indexing.
Nehemiah.
Yes.
The lady was just spoken. I think it's PG. Could she just try and explain to me, because I'm not like understanding Because I'm seeing you have true 100 and 2.7, and then you said it's -4 to a range of -2 and -1, -1. I just want to understand what is happening. I'm not getting it.
Okay. Can I answer that, if possible?
Yes, please.
Yes.
Okay, the thing is, from -1 up to -4 up to -1, it will start counting from the far left, from the far right. It will start cutting from April to 20.7, then 100, then 2. So the first thing it's going to do is it will discard it will start from far right. So you -1, 2, 3, and 4 up to true here, up to true this -4. So it will discard the -1 bit of it, -1, which is April. If from the whatever we have printed, print the list -1 up to -1, up -4 to -1. So it will come up to true. It will print true. True is -4, right? If I'm not wrong.
Yes.
Then it will discard -1 so that it print the range from -4 up to, that is negative, it will be -2. It will print up to -2. So it will discard the -1 range, the position of -1. That one's, I think the code is a bit challenging for somebody who is, because the negative, if you want to move from the smaller one to the bigger one, and the list is just straight like that. I think it will discard the last one so that it will bring you the what? Something like that. I'm sorry if somebody has not gotten, but it will discard the last one. Like a normal code, like a normal range, it will discard the last one if you reverse the numbers.
Okay, can I just interrupt a bit before Nehemiah coming? Thank you so much, Ocheng, for that. I've really understood. Then can I just pose a question to you, Nehemiah? Can you just copy that entire code into a new cell, and then you do -1 to -4? I just want to see the difference. There's something that I want maybe to.
I begin with the -1.
Yeah, and then -4. That's the exact same code, so that we can see the difference.
That won't work. It will return an empty list.
Why? I'm not getting these things. Why won't it work?
It's like the way we say, you see, in a normal list, like the way we are doing positive indexing, so we start from 1. So 1 is less than 4. So you can't say from 4 to 1. You'll say from 1 to 4. You get it. Follows an order. So the same way in this one, -1 is greater than -4. So the only way you can do is you have to start from the lowest to the highest.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe.
I have a question.
Yes. Go ahead.
So Apple, what code will I write if I want Apple to be included?
I think it's the one that you start, if you say like the Apple at the last one, you'll write, I think, negative.
Yes.
Then the colon and just leave it like that. I think it should print up to Apple. So it will print up to the last thing, like the way we did with the strings. We can try that though to see.
Yeah, by the way, that's something that I was missing. So sometimes maybe we just want to maybe return maybe from a certain index to a certain index. I think that's something that let's begin with the positive one. So let's say, for example, we want to return elements from index number 1 to the end. So you'll do like just say 1, and then I just no, sorry guys. You just here I just pass here like 1, then I just leave it the way it is. Then it will return all the elements to what? For it will leave what the elements below 1. Or if it were 2, it will leave all other elements below 2. So the same applies with negative indexing. And your example was what? Or before you give me your example, you can as well do from, you can return maybe elements, like maybe to index number, whatever that you wish. For example, to index number 3, you can do that. And then it will exclude elements from index number 3 or onwards. So, and then your negative example was what?
She wanted the apple at the end to be included. You see, when we were printing up to -1,
yes.
The apple at the end was not included. So she wanted that.
Oh, so you can write here 4. So for example, when you say -4, this is -1, 2, 3, 4. So it will return from here to the rest when you just leave it the way it is like that. Let's try. So you can see it returns also the apple. I don't know if this is the way you wanted.
Hello.
Yes.
I didn't get the question. She said she wanted the code to print up to Apple or to print the entire thing, because I'm seeing 2 apples here.
You're seeing 2 apples?
Yes, I'm seeing 2 apples from the list. Or my eyes are maybe my eyes are not okay.
Maybe you need an optician. So I think this one, or you're talking about this one. This is the input, but now this is the output. This is the output. Yes.
Nema,
yes.
Can I explain to him?
Yes.
Okay, Ochieng, you see, the first code that Nema did was -4 to -1. So that code, it's kind of like excluded the last apple on the far right. But because I think it was Ficona whom she was asking that, what if you want to print even up to the last apple? And that is why Nehemiah said you just write like -4 and then that semicolon, and then you just leave it. So it will print everything from -4 to the last thing, and the last thing is the word apple. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. So I think the mistake I did, and I didn't give you the syntax. So this is the syntax for list. Yes.
Wait a bit. I think where I was getting lost was
Yes.
I thought the lady wanted the apple from index 0 to be printed instead of the one from the last index.
Yes.
Yes. So because I'm seeing in the list, I'm seeing apple, banana, mango, blue, 100. This one, then another apple also. If I'm not wrong,
up to the end, you can just print the list, and you'll get everything. So I think she was talking about the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it.
And I think all this confusion is because of me. I didn't even give you the syntax. So we have the start, we have the store, that is it stop, and then what step? Is it step? So like you can have. Yeah, this is in the range.
It's just start and stop.
Or start and stop.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Basically, we are defining. So this should be the syntax for range, and of which we are trying to access the range. So that should be the syntax still, right? Not for list, because here we are trying to access what the range of values. So it usually excludes the last element, but I think you guys understand that. So I think, can we go to something else, or maybe you have a question maybe there. And I'm spending my time on these ones. For the rest, I think I'll just be going faster because the same function or the same formula applies on different data types, data structures here. So maybe if I can talk about how to change an item in a value. We say that the list
Nehemiah,
yes.
Before you continue,
yes.
I have not understood why when we print -1 to -4, it returns a blank.
The thing we talked about the list, they are ordered. They are ordered. So like if you want to access it that way, or maybe I heard someone explaining it very well. If we can chip in and try to help.
It's the same thing you've said. Lists are ordered. So you start with the smallest to the highest. You cannot start with the highest to the smallest. It will just return an empty list because it's not understanding, like the code won't understand what you're trying to tell it. But if you start from the lowest to the highest, then it's clear because it's ordered. Unlike a set, this one is ordered.
Just to add on that, when we say ordered, in this case as a negative, we are starting on the right-hand side. So we are starting from -1, which is now Apple, going to -4, which is true. So Lauren, when in any case, you should start that way. We cannot change from the other way around, then it returns a false. It won't return the right way. So I think that helps. I hope.
Yeah.
It's like playing from 7 to 1 instead of 1 to 7 when you're doing like the positive one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing I said, like when you have -4, it's smaller than the -1. Just like I think it's who is this girl? The someone here said like it begins from the smallest to the highest. So that I think perhaps that one I guess he understood. Can we now go to maybe accessing to change a list, perhaps the elements in a list? Can we go to that quickly? I believe silence will mean that you guys are good, but in case of any question, you just make noise. Then I'll know. So now let's say we say that the lists are mutable, they are changeable. You can modify them. Now let's try this one. So let's say we want just to have the list. We just want to have fruits alone. These or maybe we've realized that we've made a duplicate and we want to modify it. So what we'll do, you can create a variable for it, but I don't want to do that for now. Let me just define this, not defining, but I use this list here. And then now, because of the list we talked about, we use these square brackets. And then now the last element was what? The last element is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It is 6. So let's say we want to change that element number 6. We just do that and then assign it to you just assign it to the value. The value. So we can say, let me use which fruit do you guys like? There's this fruit that I like. Niweke fruit gani hapa hivi? Let me just write anything. Purple. This is the spelling for purple. So yeah. So let's try to return the list and see if we will have modified. We will have changed it. So you can see now at the end, we no longer have the apples. So this is what we mean that the lists are mutable, they are changeable. You can change once they are created. So, and then for example, you want to change everything. You want to change a range. For instance, you want to change from this to just want to have all of them to be fruits instead of being what with these abelian things. So again, I'll do this. I'll say let me remove this one so that it cannot confuse people. Let me use a range here instead of writing many things. So here to use a range, you understand now how to use a range. So if we want to access this range, which values will you use, guys, from true to 20.7? Anybody to make some noise there?
Come up again.
For instance, we want to change this range. So we want to access the range, the first index and the last index. Someone to give us that values, the first and the last.
Nema,
Mm-hmm.
is it 3 to 6?
Yes?
3?
Yes.
Then semicolon 6, because we want to pick from true to 20.7.
Yes.
So we need to have like 6 so that it will discard that 6, the last up.
So it will be?
It will be 3 semicolon 6.
3 then colon 6.
Yeah, because it will not give us the last item, the sixth one. It will always like discard it.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, that's something about the index. Yeah, the syntax for range. It discards the last one. In future we shall be writing the syntax before we do anything. So 0, 1. So this is index 0, 1, 2, and then so this is index 3. That's why we added here 3. And then we want to target the last one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. No, are you sure it is 6?
No,
It shall be
no,
7.
you start
from 0.
You start from 0.
I started from 0.
You started from 1.
Count again. Start from 0.
0, 1, 2, 3. That's correct. And then 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that's correct. Sorry, guys. So now I want to modify this one. So you just define your range there, and then you can use a list, because a range is want to access several elements. So we'll use a list. They want to use a strings. So can give us new fruits. It seems like my favorite fruits are
kiwi, melon,
melon. Spelling for melon. That way.
Yeah, like that.
And then the last one.
Orange.
Orange.
So let's run. And then guys, you can see we've modified. These are 3 elements there. So guys, you now believe that the lists are what? They are mutable. They are changeable. So, and of course, to get the values, or maybe to get the number of elements inside the list, I guess you just do it. You just I guess the other thing that perhaps I can talk about is, did I talk about on how you can add an element to a list?
Nehemiah,
Yes.
just a question. How does your notebooks have like a predictor, like you can do, it's like autocorrect for phones? How does yours have? Mine doesn't. Like when you start writing the word man, it finishes for you mango, like that. How does yours have that? How much just happened? Is there a setting?
Like this way?
Yes.
I think this is
there like a setting or what?
The settings in your computer. It applies anywhere.
Oh, like what I have on my keyboard on my computer.
Yeah, the settings in inside. Let me try ChatGPT. Prompt it. So like you can see, when I start type anywhere, it will give me those things. Those are suggestions. Because I realize I realize I'm not good with spelling. That's why.
But it's good so that especially when you're coding, it's good so that you don't have to repeat everything all the time.
Yeah.
Like it can predict you're going to. Okay, thank you.
But if you use powerful IDEs like VS Code, it can autocomplete for you the entire statement. It's very, very powerful. Or any IDE like PyCharm. So did I talk about how you can insert elements, new elements? I didn't. So
No.
So let me talk about that one. And I believe let me save these fruits now so that I can use it. I can use it in future because I don't like retyping the same things. Let me just create this new list. And then now to insert a new list, we use the insert method. we use the insert method to insert items inside a list. So let's try this one this way. Let's say the list, and then I'll say no, I should say let's say the list, and then the method I said it is insert the spelling insert. Yeah. You need the spelling for insert, and then let's add in. So someone said which fruit? Someone said grapes. Yeah, grapes. Yeah, grapes. Now let's try to print to execute. Let's say print and the list. Sorry, I don't know why it's not.
Index. I think it wants you to put the index where you want grapes to be.
Oh, by there it has two parameters. You have to. Oh, so guys, basically to insert a new list without replacing any other. I think I should have explained this way. Now, for example, you want to replace index number 1, but you don't want to replace existing values. We use this insert. So it has two arguments. So the first one is the element, the index that you want to add, and then the new element that you want to add it there. So let's try to run. I think this one should work. So now you can see now at index number 2 we have grapes, but it didn't affect the initial index. Like we saw that when we use these range things, it replaced these values, and then it added the new values. But now when you use the insert, it adds a new element in that it inserts a new element in that index, but now the index that was there, it will go to the next index. I don't know, guys, if you understand. Let me try to repeat. Now, when you use the insert method, this one inserts a new list.
So if you use insert.
Yes.
Okay, if you use insert, that means you have to state the position you want to place the item.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Wonderful. If you have understood that one, then I think let's go to the next. Like for example, you want to at this one we have inserted. Yes.
And if I want to replace banana with grapes, how will I do that?
So you have to define first of all the index. So this will be index what? This is index 1. Yes.
Can I try to explain that?
Yes,
and you tell me if I'm right or wrong?
Sure.
Yeah, I think from the example that you have showed, can you go up a bit? The 3-6 example. Yeah, there. I think if you want to replace banana is index 1. So you'll have to do the list, and then in those square bracket, and then say 1 equals 2. So I think that sign that equals 2, it says that index number 1 should be equal to maybe something that we are replacing with. But we now say insert, because we've not used that equal to, it will just insert there and then move that. that banana to another position. But when you now say equals to, that means index number 1 should be equals to that new. I hope I've explained something. Sorry guys, thanks.
I think we can just do it practically, but in my opinion, I think there is also a method called replace, if I can clearly remember.
Okay, let me just say what I get, right? So if you, from this list you created, if you want to add a new element to the list, such as let's say pawpaw, you just want to add pawpaw to the existing list. We use the method, the name of the list, which is the list.append. Then we put pawpaw in that. Then when you print the list, you will find pawpaw in it. However, if you want to use this, what do you call it, insert. Once you put the list.insert, you want to actually replace a particular element, so it's the list.insert, open the bracket, put the index number. For instance, now if I want to replace banana with soya beans, for instance, so I would say the list.insert bracket, banana is in index 1, comma, then I put soya beans, then close it. So by the time I print a set, it will now become apple, soya beans, mango, kiwi, melon, orange, and so on. But if you want to just add an element to it without regard keeping the existing list, but add another thing to it, we use the .append. It will just add it to the list, so it will increase the number of the list. Thank you.
And that is very, very wonderful. And in fact, our next thing we're going to talk about the append thing. But now to address, Lauren directly. So, for example, you want to change this banana. So here you just say define the index of banana. It is index number 1, and then here I will say I'll say grapes. So grapes is a string, grapes. So this way it will automatically replace banana with grapes. The easiest way to do that. But now the insert now, this one can be used to you define, for example, the index that you want to define. So with the insert, this one is like it replaces the position. But I think the best way to define is like this one only replaces the index number. It doesn't replace the item itself, the element itself. So like it just replaces the position of banana with the new item defined there. So I believe, guys, you've understood that one.
Nehemiah, I have a question.
Yes.
Yeah, just scroll up.
Yes.
Yeah, where you've just shown how you can replace an element. Now, let's say you have 200 elements in a list. How are you going to, let's say you want to replace an element on the, let's say 150th index. I don't know whether it's possible. Yeah, but how are you going to identify that specific index if you have a very large number of elements in a particular list?
So in that case, I think the best method to use there is to use the replace. For example, if you just want to know, if you know the exact element that you want to replace, then you can use the replace method. It will replace all instances of that element that you want. Instead, if you are not sure about the elements, but now this one applies if you know the exact element that you want to replace. But if you have many elements that you want to change all of them at the same, I think you can use the replace method. It does that function. I don't know if you will be able to handle it today, but there's a method called replace. It replaces. Or can you try that one?
Neymar.
Yes.
If I may just piggyback on this last question.
Yes.
This insert now, let's say you want to insert 2 elements, or just more than one element. That is, you have another fruit, let's say cashew. So how do you add it? How do you use the insert method to put two elements? At least you don't want to replace like we did earlier. We are using that range, but we want to just insert it. How do we use this insert method to put like grapes and cashew? Is it possible?
I haven't tried that one. I haven't tried that one because I think it only takes a particular single index, a single specified index, a single item. I'm not sure. I haven't tried with the several because I think these are the only arguments it takes. The first one is the element that you want to replace, and then the element itself. Though I'm not sure.
Maybe in that case we'll use the append method then.
Yeah. So for append, maybe someone has something to add on.
Yes, Nehemiah, I think it's also good practice to have our indexes in square brackets.
For the method insert, does not require square brackets for indexes. However, the question, I don't know who raised that question, was that the voice sounded familiar, but I wasn't paying attention to the screen. Anthony, exactly, Anthony. The question you asked that if it's possible to replace multiple elements, so what usually you do in that situation is to write the same insert method multiple times for that list. So for instance, now you want to replace banana, grapes, and mango with what do you call it? Let's say beans, rice, and plantain. So it will be the insert banana is in the first index, the list of insert bracket 1, comma, then you now put in maybe rice. You now go under again, the list dot insert, open the bracket again, 2, comma, beans. The list, then go under again, the list. So it's like you're writing the same command, but for different elements. So by the time you run it, run the first one, run the second one, and run the third one. So by the time you print out the list, you will find that all the 3 elements have been replaced. I don't know if that makes sense.
Well, thank you. Just a slight listen. I hope you know that I don't want to remove banana and put that beans. I just want to shift banana to the right and insert beans where banana was. That's what the insert method does. So it shifts the what was there in that position before and puts what you are asking, the new one you're asking. Meanwhile,
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
That's enough.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think that was very, very helpful also for me. So I think before I go to append elements, let me talk about on how you can include several lists. For example, you have a list for, let me create 2 lists here. Let me say 2 second, another list. Let me use, I'm not creative, another list. I'm not creative on these things. So in here, let me just cut. Let me cut from here. And then let me insert here. Now, for example, you want to join the elements from these 2 lists. So we have, a method called extend. Extend. This is the spelling for extend, right? And then now, here you can do what you define what. Ngoja. So the list is this one, the main one. So this is the list, and then now the method, and then you extend the new variable here called another list. Are we together? Another list.
Yes, we are.
Another list, and then when you run, it will kind of join everything, every list, 2 lists, at a go. Guys, have you understood this one? I go to, maybe for example, you want to join also the tuples. We shall talk about tuples in a few, but maybe before I talk about that one, I think guys you've understood this one to extend.
Yes. Yes. Please, Nehemiah, can you add mango to the second list, please?
So that people can know it's
I just
something
want to
new.
see something.
All right.
Yes.
You said mango?
Yes, mango.
Let me run so that people can tell that it's a new thing. Yeah, you can see it's
Okay.
added there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Now
let's say
you have a tuple. You want to include a tuple in the list, a tuple that contains these fruits. A tuple is defined with these parentheses. We shall talk about tuples in a few. So if you want to include the different data type, you use a method called you can use, I think you use the same method. Let's try. Let me first of all run and see if it works. Oh guys, it works. You can as well use the same extend method to even use different data types. Like here we've used a tuple to join the values inside a tuple to a list. We've joined all of them. Yeah, so guys, I think let's go to something new. I'm spending a lot of time on this one, but the rest I just define you the structure syntax, then I'll go to the functions, then I think we'll be done because the same methods apply in different data types. So can I talk about on how you can remove an element? We've talked about on how to add stuffs, and now what about if you want to include to remove? So let me do this. Let me delete, or let me use a new list. There's no harm to create a new cell. Sorry. Any questions? Someone was talking. Now to remove an element inside a list, we use the remove method. You can see how easy Python is. Things are just straightforward, are understandable. They are just English. When you just say, someone can just tell that remove is to remove. Python is just straightforward. So here you define the method, remove method, and then the name of the item that you want to remove. Let's say I don't like mango. I want to remove mango. 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 And then you print the list. Let's see if it will return 2 elements. So guys, you can see it returns 2 elements. Any question there?
Yes, Nehemiah. I have a question. I've seen that one is working. Can you just you see before the word apple or anywhere? Can you write the word mango but in small letters?
Mango.
Yeah. Just no. Just leave that one. Add another word.
This one.
Add another word anywhere.
I add something else.
Yeah, just inside there. Anywhere. Mango in small letters. All lowercase.
Mango. That way.
Yeah. Can you run that code? I want to see something. Oh, so it gets sensitive. Thanks.
Okay.
Yep.
Now let's assume you have more than one item with a specified value. So basically, the remove method will only remove the first occurrence, just like that guy was trying to test. It only removes the first occurrence of that element. So you can see the rest will not. If I had added several elements, it will do it. It will not delete the rest. It will only delete the last. I'm not listening to myself. When you use the remove method, it only removes the first element, the first instance of that element. It doesn't remove the rest, other occurrences. So now let's say you want to remove, you don't want to spell the names. Like for me, I'm not good at spelling spellings. So let's say I want to remove with indices instead of the names. So in that case, I'll use another method called pop. I'll use pop method, and then so let's say like I want to remove the last element. This is number 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. 3, yeah, 3. So let me say 3. So instead of typing the whole name Mango, I'll just type that 3, and then I will remove it. No, we've used Mango many times. Let me use Apple. Let me use index 0. Yeah, you can see there's no longer Apple there. So if you don't want to remove elements with the names, you can use the indices as well. So now, for instance, yes.
Please, put Apple in that pop.
Pop,
Put Apple.
Okay.
Yes.
This one it won't work because this should be indices. It will throw an error.
No, like don't put the string quotes.
Okay. It won't be defined. It's like
okay, because where I asked for that was that what I knew pop was for was that whatever you pop would come out of the list, and so it will come outside. So even it will go out of the list, but you still see it outside the list. So as I'm looking at this one, I'm not seeing it outside the list. That's why I asked.
Oh. Okay. Thank you for that. Now, for instance, if you don't specify, now remember the pop only works with the indices, index numbers. So you can't use any other thing. Now, for example, if you don't specify, it will automatically remove the last occurrence, the last item. If you don't add here the index, it will delete the last. Let me change here to something like another fruit that I don't like. I don't like things which are sour, which are not sweet. So mango, you can see now no longer, or I should have changed here mango. So guys, you can see if you don't add the index, it will remove the last occurrence. Now we also have another keyword called del. So the del keyword, this remove the specified. This also remove the remove the specified index as well. You can use the del to delete the specified index. So let me instead of the pop, let me use del. By the way, guys, you notice that when I use the built-in functions in built-in keywords in Python, you can see the color changes. That's the goodness of working with the IDE. You can see the color changes to somehow green. And then now here I'll define the index number, like let's say 0. Let's say 2. Let me use 2. So you can see I've removed also the mango. So basically you can use the pop, you can use the del, you can use the remove to remove elements. Any question there?
Excuse me, Nehemiah.
Yes.
You lost me for a second. I think I had internet issues. What does pop do again?
So pop, like we began with the remove. The remove, you type there the name that you want to remove. But now the pop remove the index number. For example, you want to delete an index number without typing the name. You can use the pop so that you just type there the index number instead of typing the name. And
okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you're welcome. Also, the del, del, also removes the element with the index number. With the index number. So like here, let me change here to 1. It will remove banana. So basically, you can use that one. And then also on the deleting stars, you can as well use the clear method. And the method, this one empty, make the list empty if I want to remove all the elements. So basically the list remains, but it will have no content. For example, how can I say it? You want to delete all these elements, but you just want to have an empty list. So I guess I began with this example of a sack to carry maize. So for instance, you want to remove all the maize, but just to remain with the sack just like that. You don't want to delete the sack itself. So you can use this method called clear. You can use the method called clear. This one will clear the items in the list, but it will maintain the list. So let me the list. And the list, and then here the method will be clear. Now guys, the other thing about methods, they should have parentheses. Anyway, you use parentheses is a method. So I'll say dot clear like this, and then so this way it will clear everything. You can see it returns an empty thing, an empty list. Any question, guys, before I go to?
Okay, I just wanted to say something regarding that pop, right? So when we print the list, it shows us the list. Then it has removed the elements we popped out, right? So if you write a function, for instance, this, can we go to that one and you put dot pop, please?
On which one and put what? On the pop
dot
one?
pop. Yes.
I think I deleted pop. My goodness. I think I'll have to write it. Let me just copy and then I'll use it. Sorry.
Okay, you can just copy this last one.
Let me
so that we just change clear. Yes, we just change clear to dot pop.
And then pop.
Then can we just give it let's call it maybe pop underscore list. Let's call this the list dot pop. Let's call it pop underscore list.
Pop underscore list.
List equal to. So now write another print function. Another print function under this one, yes. Print pop underscore list.
Pop underscore list.
Okay, then can run it. So basically, what I wanted to show with this is that sometimes, like you mentioned, if you don't mention the index, will pop out the last element in the list. So if you want to see what element is popped out, or you use the index and you're not sure, you want to see the element that was popped out, if you write, if you create a variable for the pop method, you'll be able to see what element was popped out. So it will help you so that you don't make mistake. Maybe you pop the last list and you didn't know, and you run it again to keep removing the last one. So you want to see what you removed. So it's also good to create a variable for the method so that you can see what came out of the list. Thank you.
Oh, that was wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. Now, let's say we have a lot of lists and you want to iterate elements. Though we shall talk about loops maybe next week, but I just like a sneak peek or not can be taught about the list. Maybe you can as well iterate. For example, you want to have these list elements to be independent, independent elements. So what you'll do, you can just do a for loop or any other loop. Let's use a for let's say for x. Right? Let me use a for x in the list. The list. Remember, this x can be anything. The list, and then now I said something. I think Kelvin said something yesterday that that Python is very sensitive to matters with indentation. So like, for example, when you use a for loop, you should consider the indentation. The number of indentation doesn't matter, but Python recommends four white spaces. Like you just click here, 1, 2, 3, 4. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's just their recommendation. So here, let's say print that X. So you can see, guys, it iterates the elements inside the list, and then it returns individual elements. So guys, this was just by the way. We shall talk about these things in details in our loops, loops discussion. Also, guys, there's a lot of things that perhaps I can talk about on this list. I don't want to go into that because it can we have a lot to cover today. Let me briefly, or maybe someone has a question, because I want to finish these stuffs and we do something else. Any question on the list? Basically, these are the basics. We have a lot to talk about on list, but these are the yes.
Thank you. Now, just a slight experiment. In this your prints, can you put that X in a list bracket? That print X. Put it in a brace bracket and let us see what effects you have on the print X. X. Within that bracket, put the X again in a list. Print list of X. Yes.
Okay. A string here called X.
No. Down at the yes. That inside that print that bracket in front of the prints. Put brace list.
I write here print.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You say right here print.
Yes. Then put inside that now. Put like a list that square bracket. Then put the X inside it.
This one.
Yes. Put X. Exactly. Let's run this down. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Yeah. So any other question? By the way, guys, we have a lot, like to sort list, to copy list, to join list. Must we talk about these things, or we go to other things? For example, you want to sort a list.
I think maybe we can revisit later if someone hasn't understood, because I think at this point you're trying to brush over, so that also we're able to solve the challenge. So I think, because they are in the notes, of course we can go over them, like say tomorrow evening or something like that. Then if someone hadn't understood something, then we can go over it.
That's very great. That's great. So guys, let's briefly talk about the tuples. Remember the methods, they are just the same. I won't repeat the methods, but maybe now the list, the tuples and the strings, these are the only data types which are unchangeable once you've created. So basically, the tuples, these are used to store multiple items in a single variable, just like the other data types. And it's also one of the 4 built-in data types in Python. That is the list, set, and the dictionary. But now the key thing about, or maybe the unique thing about the tuples, these are unchangeable. Once you've defined, you are not able to use those methods like what we used, the remove, how to add the elements, to include, to change new elements. They are not. It doesn't accept those operations. That's why we say that they are immutable. They are not changeable, and they use the rounded brackets. So again, let me use the tuple, just a simple example, the tuple. I've forgotten the spelling for the tuple. So if you want to know that something is a tuple, again, this one is unique. It is defined with the parentheses. So here you can add in, just like in the list. In the list, you can just add in any. Let's add in these items. And then let's check the kind of data type. Guys, can someone tell me the command to get the data type that was used here, to obtain the data type?
Type.
Okay, type, and then
bracket the tuple.
Okay, the tuple. The tuple. Yeah, so guys, you can see now the type is tuple, and then maybe something just to confirm that maybe it doesn't allow duplicates. I can do this. Let me try to add in something that, let me copy, because to type I can type wrong spelling. Let me run. So basically this one, just like the other things, it allows what, like at the list, it allows duplicates. So here again, let me do a print, and then I'll run the tuple. Should be the tuple. Yeah, so guys, you can see it allows what, duplicates. You can see we have 2 oranges. I did copy paste it, so just know that it's the same thing. This orange, the spelling are the same. So just like the list, it allows what, the duplicates, and these are unchangeable. You can't add. If you try those operations to do it, to add, to modify, it won't work. But we try it, but you can just believe me that it doesn't work. Or we try one. So any method to add an element, guys. Or we use this one. Let's say the tuple, and then how are we using? We were using I don't know. This one is for let me say index 0.
Yeah.
And then I give it mango and lack of proper fruits. So and then I print the tuple. You can see it gives me the error. Object does not support item assignment. So guys, you can't do those operations here. You can't add, you can't remove element, you can't replace and stuff. So guys, I think this is what is unique about the tuples. And then unless there's a question there, I can talk about though we have a lot of things also on tuples, but I won't go there, like how to update a tuple, maybe how to concatenate or stuff and like that. And we have many things there. But for the interest of time, I want to talk about the sets just in a few, unless someone has a burning question on tuple.
So in summary, are you saying that the tuple is immutable? Is that what you just demonstrated now?
Exactly. I was trying to say that, yeah, by there that's the general word. They are immutable. Like you can't do operation like to add, to replace, and another one is to remove. Those operations. Yes.
To extend and go.
Yeah, such operations. So guys, I also want to talk about the sets. Now, what is unique about the set is that it uses sets. The sets, just like the tuples and the list, they are used to store multiple items inside a single variable. So set is a collection which is unordered, and also unchangeable, and also unindexed. You can't index them like you can index elements inside the tuple list. You can index element to find them, but this one you can't index them. Also, they are unordered, which means that once you've defined a set, it doesn't mean that the elements which you've defined in that order, it will be executed the same way, it will be printed the same way. So let's, and by the other thing about tuples, just like the other one which I talk about called dictionary, they use the curly braces to define a tuple. The variable, let's use the set. And the set, and then I said that this one uses the curly braces. This thing in your keyboard, they're called the curly braces, this thing. So this is the structure or syntax, the structure of a set. So it can store multiple items, other items, just like the other data types. But now the thing that we are going to test here is that this one doesn't have the defined order. Like let's just try to print the set. So essentially, Apple could have begun, right? It could have begun banana, mango, and orange, and you can see now the output began with apple, banana, and stuff. And then also you notice that orange is removed. We had two oranges, but it has returned only one orange. So the first thing that you can tell that is that it is unordered. It is unordered, and also it doesn't allow what it doesn't allow the duplicates. It doesn't allow the duplicates. But these are changeable. These you know these now the other thing that perhaps I forgot to talk about is like it allows different data types. I know we've been using the strings, but you can as well use things like things like what? Let's try with an integer and then a boolean value. Let's see if it will return. So guys, you can see it also allows other data types. Yeah. So I guess, and also just like the list, you can perform, operations like, you can add elements inside it. You can remove elements in such operation. I believe, guys, because the methods are just the same to access.
Neymar,
Yes.
I'm sorry. The way because you put the tuple in front of this set, it makes me to not be sure which one you're talking about. Are you talking about the set or are you talking about the tuple? When you now said that you can take another element, I'm now confused. Can tuple take other elements? Is that what you're saying? So the way you put tuple in front of the set is making me to have those confusion.
Oh, guys, I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I didn't notice here. I didn't notice I added this thing. This is my mistake, guys, and that's why I like active people to notice these things. I'm not that sharp, guys. Sorry. Yeah. So that was just.
Yeah, doing well. So on this, can the tuple take other kind of data type?
Yeah. The tuple can also contain. Can we try? Let's just try that one. And let's try. Let's try this one. I'm not sure if it will allow. Let's just test. It doesn't allow. So the tuples, I forgot the comma. Oh, it allows also. So it means that all these stuff allow different data types. It can store different data types. So we've just realized that the list, the tuple, the set, can all of them store different data types in the same variable. Yeah, that's something that is very, very wonderful that I've also learned. That's awesome. So guys, maybe for example, you want to add in an element to a tuple, to a set. Sorry guys, I'm confused. That's why we need to finish this thing faster. At the set, and then for example, to add an element, you use the add method, and then you can add in your stuff, like grapes. Yeah, you can see it. You can use these operations to add, and guys, I guess we can't cover all of them. This juncture, like we also have dictionary. Like you can see that I'm kind of trying to rush, and it's not good for people to to. We need time for this thing. I think let me talk about the function because this is part of that MCQ, and then we shall schedule another session where we shall talk about these things in details because I'm trying to rush. We have a lot. For instance, on list, there's a lot that I haven't touched. On sets, there's also a lot that I haven't talked about. The lists, tuples, dictionaries. Guys, do you allow me to talk about function and we finish it, and we shall reschedule it for another time.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes, please. The time has gone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You could have told me that one like tomorrow, so that yesterday you could have told me yesterday, so that I could have even stopped from the list. So let me talk about the functions in a few, because that forms a very important part for that that code challenge. Now, what is a function? I talked about the methods, the built-in function inside the Python. They are called methods. For example, you want to perform a square root of a certain number. We have the built-in function for that. We call them methods. But now, if you want to use a function to create a function, we use this is the syntax. This is the syntax. The first one is diff. This is the keyword to define a function. And then at the function name, let me call it my function. My function. And then inside these two parentheses, then here you can pass in the arguments. I'm going to talk about the arguments in a few. And then this is where you can add in the code. Let me say add the code. Add the code. And then now once you've defined a function, if you want to run the codes, you have to call the function for it to work. Like let me try to explain first of all the function before I go into details. So basically, this is the basic syntax for a function. Then after you've created a function, you can call a function. You can now call a function for it to return things in the results. This is not like our normal variables where you can just execute it directly. This one you have to call a function with the same name that you defined with. So this is how you So the first one, you define a function name, and then you inside these are two parentheses. You can add in now the arguments. You can add in the arguments, and then now you can add in the code. Then you call the function for it to return things in the output. Otherwise, it won't return the data. So for instance, let me show you in action. So let's say print print something like name tag here. Let me use a name tag. And then let me run. So guys, you can see that there's nothing that is printed out. This means that a function, you have to call a function for it to work. That's why you call with the same function name, and then with these parentheses. This way, and this is when you are able to return the data. So I'm going to show you an example, or maybe before I talk about it in details. Now let me talk about the arguments last time. So basically, informations can be passed inside a function. So for example, in this function, you can say something like name, and then you separate arguments with the comma. And then you can say, for example, I should have used L name, and then first name, last name. I should have used here now F name. Guys, I told you I'm not creative, so you should forgive me. You should forgive me by force. So these are what we call the arguments. So these are the information that you can pass inside a function. So arguments, these are the arguments. These are specified after the function name. Inside these are parentheses. You can add as many arguments as you want, but for me I've used 2, but you can add in as many as you want. Also, you can add in 1, or you can even leave. You saw last time we didn't add anything, but we returned something. So it means that it can be empty. It can contain one item. It can contain unlimited number of arguments. So now let's say we want to return something here. So let me say print Nehemiah name tag. Let me say my name. my name is my name is, then a white space, then I want to concatenate. We talked about concatenation yesterday, and then now here I'll add in. Now instead of the string itself, I'll add in something like L name. I should begin with the first name, F name, then I'll concatenate also with the last name. Why am I doing this? I want to create here a space so that the name cannot be combined, cannot be close to each other. I'll show you if we don't use these empty strings. I'll show you that in a few. And then let me say here should be now L name. L name. So when you want to return these things, it won't return these results. So here you have to pass in things we call things we call the parameters. So yes.
I have a question. After your F name and then plus and then the space, don't you have a plus sign there before the L name?
Okay, sorry for that. Sorry.
Okay, thanks.
Sorry. Yeah, that's why you have to finish it now. So guys, now the things we pass here are what we call the parameters. So I think sometimes you might mix these things. So anything that you pass inside the function after the function name are called, or what we call the arguments. But now when you want to call it, so this will be like the variables for first name. So it goes in that order. Like for example, let's say last name is
Before providing parameters, please, and let's see what happens if you don't put the parameters. Yes.
When I don't put them.
Yeah. So it's exactly. Thank you.
So you can see it misses these are those. So if you leave it might work, but now you have to add in, because we define two arguments. So it means that you have to add in two parameters here. So let's add in a parameter. A parameter will be, the first one is F name. F name. So I'll say I should be Wekesa, sorry. Nehemiah, sorry. Nehemiah, and then the other one should be Wekesa. But this Wekesa means time of harvesting, the time of harvesting. That's why I usually like using an example of maize harvesting, maize or things with farming. So let me try to run it. Now guys, you can see it returns my name is Nehemiah Wekesa. So this will be like the container, the variables. This will be like the variables. You can call it like variables, and then these are the values. But in function name, in function way, we call these arguments, and then these ones at the bottom we call them parameters. When you are calling a function, you use parameters, but when you are defining a function, you call it arguments. So basically, this is the structure of functions. Though we have a lot to talk about these Python functions, but I think also we have things like keyword arguments, and stuff. But guys, unless you have a question on this one, we shall form another class where we shall talk about it in details. Maybe on these basics you have a question, or maybe before that I was talking about these empty strings. Now, assuming that you don't have these spaces, you just want to concatenate F name and then L name, last name. So it will be a combined thing. Like you can see, it is my name is Nehemiah Wekesa. It's not readable. So you usually want to add in the white space here. So the white space is a space like to create a space, and then this will be created the space here. But now here with the last name it is missing. So we need to add in also an empty string here. An empty string here, just like that, with a white space, so that the name can have some spaces. So guys, I guess you've understood this one. Anyone who has a question up to this point, up to this juncture?
Hello, Nama.
Yes, yes.
From my end, personally, I've not understood it, but just like you have said that we shall have another class, I will appreciate. Because I'm not getting these things very correctly.
Oh, sure. But there, I'm also trying to rush. I believe also people won't understand. So I think this thing just needs time, a lot of time, and then we discuss it just slowly, so that you guys can understand. But I was thinking that let me stop the recording first.